Well, hey there, folks. It's me. It's Bubba T coming at you. Look here, another wonderful episode right here for you. I'm so glad you're tuning in. I got a great show for you tonight. Special guest. It's going to be an exciting episode. So stay tuned. This is the Bubba T Show. Let's go.
Well, shackle my hands and call me an outlaw. Well, I'm proud of my rebel ways. I've raised hell since I was born. I raised hell till I hit the grave. Mama whooped my ass near every day. Well, I was a hellion, so she'd say. Well, I don't guess too much has changed, 'cause I still ride that hellbound train.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I love you to death. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I got a very special guest straight out of Hickman, Kentucky, Derek Goodson.
I feel very special.
You are very special.
It's funny because I've been trying to get in a room with you for like how many years now? Like you would,
Yeah.
every now and then you'd catch me in town or you'd text me and you'd say, "Hey man, we're doing some video.
Right.
Would you be interested in doing something?" I would absolutely be interested.
Yeah. And here you are
Here I am finally
in the Nothing Fancy studio.
This is great.
Well, I really appreciate you coming out.
I've always you can tell when somebody's creative. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? When they've got and that has always been you.
Yeah.
You're always looking for the next platform that you could put
Right.
this on. I'm glad that you found I'm a huge podcast.
Yeah. I love podcasts.
Yeah.
And didn't know that it was so easy to create one. So I've been yearning all these years to do some kind of entertainment. And here it is.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. I love it. I enjoy doing it. And I'm so excited that all the community people have come out to support too. I had Jane, I had Trey Hopper, it's just the support's been wonderful.
Well, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that there are a lot of interesting characters.
There very much is.
Yeah, here locally. And sometimes I think we forget that. If you would like to know all of the interesting characters,
I would.
You should become involved in politics.
Well, a little bit at a time. I'm moving in there,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You should have some political aspirations, and you will meet everybody.
Right.
And
Well, I am on the Hickman and Tourism Board now, or the Hickman Recreation and Tourism Board.
I am a double T-shirt member of the Hickman Recreation and Tourism Board.
Right.
It's something I enjoy doing, but look, when your kids get old enough to discover sports,
right,
and they want to follow that dream, and then you buy a restaurant. I don't know if you know this or not. You may.
I may.
I think that you may have some background in this. Restaurants are a bitch.
Restaurants suck.
Yeah.
But that you can enjoy them at the same time.
No, like the wouldn't trade, the togetherness of
Right.
employees. We've got some great employees, and my wife has always wanted a restaurant, so
Yeah.
she's in her element. Me, not so much.
Right.
That wasn't my thing, but she handles business up there, and it's a lot of business to be handled in a restaurant.
That's the headache side of it, is the
Yes.
business side for sure.
Yeah, and the people that come in there every day, God bless them. We wouldn't be there if it wasn't for them. And you got to try to keep everybody happy. It's almost political.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
But it's been good to us, and the people here locally have been good to us. So I won't complain about it too much.
And you know what? And I hate to say this, I really do. I have not once ate there.
I've got, I've had some friends here just say I just haven't got up there to eat.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I don't.
I come to Hickman for one thing. Pick my daughter up, and then I'm back out.
You're out, yeah.
And every morning when I take her, I see all the cars there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop in here for something. And then I look at the clock, and I'm like, damn it, I'm running late.
I gotta go. Yeah.
You know?
Well, we Ashley and I talk about this a lot when you talk about the business side of a restaurant. Well, the business side of anything, when you have a small business.
Yeah.
It's what's different between Hickman and Fulton. Fulton is a pass through.
Yeah.
Fulton has a lot of transient traffic.
Right.
People passing through Fulton on the way to wherever.
Yeah.
That are looking for something to eat or looking for a gas station or looking for Hickman is a destination.
Right.
I'm going to Hickman because I've got to go to the courthouse, or I've got to go to Hickman.
Right.
Run up to City Hall, or I've got to, and so there's not a lot of people just humming through going, I wonder if there's any good restaurants here.
Right. Yeah.
And so,
like, I'm on my way to Tiptonville. I wonder,
And then occasionally you get people that come off the boat or the ferry, and those people are always looking for, your hubs is that?
Right.
You know how to get to Union City? I know how to do that. But once again, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No.
Honest to God, no. I would not want to own a restaurant and be living in Paducah or be living in Nashville, or because it is a dog eat dog world there. Yeah. Whereas here, it's most of my customers are local.
Right.
They're local people.
Farmers and stuff like that. Yeah.
We get a lot of work crews, Merco's up here doing the work on the intersection right now, and those guys come in and eat every day.
Yeah.
Thanks to them.
And that's, pretty much identical to ours. And even though as big of a headache as it was, I miss it every single day because now that I've got a job to where I go in the mornings and I actually have the time. If it was right there, I'd be able to get up and go up there and sit for a little bit, and then eat and then go. And now I don't have that.
It's one of my favorite times of the day. Is lunch. We go to lunch break
here
at the state. Roll up there and eat lunch, and it's always the same group of people. That's
always,
Yeah. There's always a person that comes in and nobody knows them. They're who's that?
Yeah.
Guy?
Even in the kitchen, they're
like, there's some guy.
Yeah. My grandma was always the same. Who's that? The gossip in a restaurant's crazy, especially a mom and pop restaurant. A country restaurant, the gossip's crazy.
Hey, I guarantee you, breakfast is lit at the Harvest Kitchen. It's always the same group of gentlemen that sit up there at the front table.
Yep.
There are some tales being shared there.
My goodness. Yeah, the Harpies and the Bubba Harrisons, from the Casey Cafe. You come in, exactly what time they're coming in every morning, and you're like, well, if he misses, you're like, oh shit, what happened to Harpy this morning? Or something like that.
Calling Harpies everything.
Yeah, everything good, buddy.
It's Dennis Coffee. God bless him. He is as regular as you could possibly get.
Yeah,
he is there at the same time every morning, and he'll actually tell Ashley, all right, I'm going to be here the same time tomorrow. I need the same exact. He eats the same thing every day.
Right.
And so Ashley's like, I've got you. I've got you. Just let me know if you're not going to be here. That's more of a problem.
Yeah.
So, that's great though. I mean, it's community.
And I take it it's the normal, like say breakfast menu where you got the omelets and the sausage, egg, and cheeses and the pancakes and all that good stuff. You know what? I'm coming in the morning.
Yeah. Come up there and eat.
Yeah. If I wake up, I'm going to be there. Yeah.
What time will that be at?
What time I need to be up is like, I need to be on the road at 6:30. But, I am a manager now, so I get there at 8.
How you like that?
It's got its ups and downs. Yeah.
Everybody wants it until they get it.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait a minute, this isn't what I thought it was going to be.
Right. Then you go salary, and it's like you're in there 80 hours a week, but you're not getting paid for that extra shit.
Hey, we're going to need you to work. We're going to need you to work every day, 4 hours over.
Right.
We got to get this order out.
Got to get it done. Yeah. But I'm the guy that I can't leave my guys hanging. There's some managers out there that just don't give a shit. When it comes to 3 o'clock, it's time to go. Yeah. But me, I don't have the heart for it, and I can't walk out. So I put myself in those situations a lot where the company itself does not.
Good leadership you know, so you lead by example. Well,
right.
yeah, I guess. But if you're doing the same thing they're doing and you're helping them produce what they need to produce, and you're a part of that, instead of just being the guy in the background saying, "This is what we need to do today, y'all." Hit it. I'm gonna stay up here and smoke cigarettes. And, it
sit on my ass all day.
Huge difference, especially, I've worked in a factory, in a factory setting. A lot of those guys collecting a paycheck.
Yeah.
So that would be refreshing.
And it is. I've got a lot of loyal guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the reason, because I jump in the trenches with them.
Well, that is great in the fact that that you've got to give people a reason to stay.
Yeah.
Nowadays, especially more than any other time that I can remember. I don't know a single line of work where there just isn't some type of shortage of people because nobody, it isn't what they thought they were going to do. Well, I got a job, and I don't want this job. I want the next job, the next job, the next job, and
my favorite one is I got to have a job for court. And then when court's done, they're done. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, you got to sign this paper right here. So thank you very much. I'll be back on Monday.
Yeah, I'll see you Monday, buddy. Yeah. Never see him again.
Yeah, that's tough. But it's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
I got a job when I was 14 years old. My dad came home.
Yeah.
I lived in Joliet, Illinois. My dad came home with a work license. You had to have a license.
Oh, wow.
And you could only work so many hours a week, if you're still in school.
Yeah.
I was 14, and he go, "Oh, I got you something for your birthday. I got you a work license." And I was like, "Oh, ha, ha." And I got you a job.
Yeah.
Like, you did. Where am I going to be working?
Appreciate that, Dad.
Yeah. So directly across the street from the apartments we lived in was a liquor store.
And
he said, "You're going to go stock shelves."
Wow.
At the liquor store.
Man.
Could maybe be the best job I've ever had.
Really?
The fringe benefits were unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the fringe benefits. I was very popular.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
I got one of my best friends a job there. And we worked there. I worked there. Well, first time I got a paycheck. It was over.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell me nothing. I was going to go buy my own clothes.
Yeah.
I remember I bought a pair of shoes. And I was like, I got to keep having this. There's that drive there that I can do. I financially a little more free,
right?
Because my dad was a single dad, and he didn't have a pot to piss in or throw it out of, It's like, so it was kind of nice that I didn't have to go to him, and so that was it. Man.
That is the best part.
And I have had a job every single year.
Yeah,
the longest break I ever took was when Goodyear shut down.
Right,
Goodyear paid us severance and all that for 6-8 months, something like that.
Yeah. So I was there with you on that one. That's the longest I've ever went without a job.
Yeah. And eventually, everybody thinks that, you hear guys talk about it all the time about retiring. Man, that sounds great. Retiring sounds great. I think retirement sounds great for about 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're going to start wondering, like,
I'm going to need something to do.
Yeah, I need something to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I can't just sit at home.
Yeah. So.
It's nice. Like you said, maybe the first week. Take a little week off, but no, I'll be chomping at the bit after that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't retire until I'm 62. I can't remember what I think it's 62 is where I'm at.
I believe that's it.
But it's up to 65 now. They're wanting to make it 67.
Right. And,
I don't know.
I wonder why that is. You think it's because maybe they retire at this age and they always go back out?
I think they're trying to keep the money in the bank as long as they can.
That's mostly. Really our lovely government.
Yeah. The government.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a fan.
No, I am. I'm what you would call a disenfranchised voter.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
That sounds great. Perfect.
I'll sit here right here on this podcast and tell you I used to be a staunch Democrat.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, I did.
Wow.
And not so much anymore.
Yeah.
It's when I watch TV now, it's just gotten to the point where these people in Washington should not be your role model.
No.
You shouldn't make decisions about about your family or everyday life dependent on what this party says is right.
Right.
You know, because most of these people are
batshit crazy.
Yeah. And it has flown so far off the rails now that I don't know how we pull it back.
Right.
You know, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have somebody that's more, and then this is almost just crazy to say, but more centrist. You know, somebody that's in the middle to come out and say, look, hey, we need to, you know, have a little more common sense.
Right.
Growing up, I can remember growing up. I remember I was in my grandmother's basement once, and everybody was sitting around eating, and I remember they were talking about an election. I would assume that it was one of Ronald Reagan's elections, probably in the 80s. Neighborhood. And I started asking my uncle, who'd you vote? And I remember how mad they got.
Wow.
Not like they didn't slap me off the chair or anything.
Yeah.
You know, my dad told me later, he's like, you don't ask somebody who they voted for.
Right.
You know,
I was always told that too.
You just don't talk about it. It's not. Here's the thing, man. And this might sound crazy, people out there in podcast land. We can all have differing opinions.
Indeed.
And still be friends.
Yeah.
Your political opinions should not support whether or not somebody's your friend.
No.
You know, or I hate to say this, somebody's your family.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. I mean, you turn on the YouTube. And that's all you got to do. Turn on YouTube. And some of these people out here really made me question life out there for this country.
Yep.
And this was before the Trump election. And this was while, you know, Joe was in there, old slow Joe. And what some of these people would talk about. And I'm looking at this television set like, are you really saying these words? And then you got somebody that's sane that comes up and asks them, well, what are you bitching about? What are you fighting for? And they can't tell you. You know, they can't give you a straight answer. They're just doing it to do it.
Joe Biden was the epitome of the bureaucratic process in Washington. Man. So, hey guys, I put in my time.
Yeah.
As the vice president. So now it's my time to run.
Right.
Should that always be no, it should not. If there are people that are better qualified or people that maybe are more popular, why are you not giving them the opportunity? And it's by the party throwing the money towards that candidate. And so why is that not being offered, and it's just such a convoluted, I mean, that poor guy. I mean, there towards the end, anybody that supported him, had to step back and just say, this guy needs to be at home, resting comfortably.
Right.
Not making executive decisions.
No.
And that's just politics now. Everything has gone so far either direction that we're starting to get these candidates that are more and more just odd, and it's
way out of left field.
It's like we got somehow or another as a country, bring it all back in, because there is a process that this country was founded on that includes debate and being able to go across the aisle and get something done
right
with the other party, because those two parties are there because the checks and balances. And so we've got to get back to that. If we don't get back to that, I really don't know what's going to happen.
No,
because there is so little legislation that helps you or I happening. That it is all literally eye poking and name calling, and it's just politics is just, if you go back and watch in the 80s or the 70s, I'm not saying those are the glory days, they had problems too.
Yeah,
but
not what we got now.
Right, presidents knew, all right, if I'm going to get this passed, I'm going to have to go across the aisle.
Right.
And garner some support for this.
Yeah.
And that is the way it should be.
Right. And that's whenever you plead your case.
Yes.
Yes. And you make
debate.
Yeah. You make sense of your idea.
And we're just so far from that now.
Yeah.
And I would sound like the old man if I said that, I really believe that there's just too much information.
Yeah.
I think there's too many platforms, and it's, some of these platforms are set up, just to generate revenue through views and sponsorships and ad sponsorships. And it's like, this guy's got to keep it going. This pundit has to keep it going because the next guy behind him is going to be crazier than he is,
There's too much Hollywood in politics.
Yes.
Right now.
There is.
Too much show. Like, I want to be the flashiest president. I want to be the cutest or whatever the case may be. But yeah, there's too much flashiness in politics, in our leaders. And, I was a big avid Trump supporter. That was my president.
Yep.
And he still is. It's just, I don't agree with everything he says, and it's okay. It's okay that I don't agree with it. And is there things that he's doing that I'm worried about? Of course. But I have to trust that what he is saying about this is going to be the long-term fix, that he is on the right track. I have to trust in that. But what I don't trust in is people accepting it, and what I've been worried about for quite some time is, are we going to throw ourselves into a Democrat versus Republican civil war? Because that's what it kind of looks like sometimes in these bigger cities. Even with the Tesla deal, they're out there burning Teslas down. That's violence.
I would burn one just because it's ugly.
Yeah,
it doesn't have anything to do with who.
There's nothing cool about the truck at all.
Thing I've ever seen in my life.
Like, who makes that? Who sat down there and drew this truck and was like, this is really going to take off?
I saw a TV show where it said, okay, if you had an 8-year-old draw a truck. It was like Elon said, all right. That's what we're going to make.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about it, X? You like it?
Yeah.
I don't get it. The car, I like the car.
Yeah.
The car is pretty cool.
I like the idea of an electric car.
Yeah.
Do I think that I'm ready to pay the money to hope to God that when I go, anywhere around here that I don't, that I'm not on the side of the road.
Right.
Now
begging for a plug-in.
I've always said, if they could get it to where I had 500 miles.
Yeah.
That's about what my, Jeep will do right now when I fill it up. If they can get to that point where I've got 500 miles to decide what I'm going to do, then I will probably buy one.
Yeah. It'd be worth it.
Yes. But until that point, some of them out there, $250.
Right.
And then there's all kinds of caveats about, $250, but you got to charge it with this supercharger.
Yeah.
If you don't have the supercharger, you can only charge it to 80%, and then you can only get, 173.
Right.
It's like, all right. Yeah.
Or it's going to take 8 hours to charge. That can't happen if that's going to be your only car,
But I believe, that's all within the next 10 or 20 years. It's all going to change. They make batteries now that every month, that are twice the battery of the battery before, and it's just a matter of time before we've got batteries that last incredible amounts of time. Now, what the hell we're going to do with those batteries once they run out of charge is a whole other conversation to have. But
because the direction that this country is taking as far as technology is nuts. Well, hey there, folks. It's me. It's Bubba T coming at you. Look here. Are you a parent that's finally got a child in a sports team? You finally got the team name and you finally got the number and you're wanting a T-shirt to wear at all the games to embarrass them? Or maybe you got a family reunion coming up. You want to make a shirt for the entire family to have whenever you're partying it up at the park. Or maybe you got somebody's retirement coming up and you want to make a big old banner to celebrate. Look here. I got the place for you. HD Graphics. 323 Carr Street, Fulton, Kentucky, 42041. Look here. They'll hook you up on anything you want. Shirts, hats. They do license plates. They do big banners. They do yard signs. Anything custom graphic that you want, you can get done there. Look here. Give them a call at 731-446-0192. And again, they do screen printing, embroidery, vinyl decals, banners, flyers, business cards, license plates, sublimation. They do it all, folks. Give them a call so they can hook you up. They are the official merch maker of the Bubba T Show. We got hats. We got shirts. They do it all, folks. And they are the official sponsor of the Bubba T Show. So give them a call today. Daniel Thomas, the Showtime will hook you up. I love you to death. Check them out. Technology, that's crazy.
Technology is crazy now. I think that this is a wonderful time to be alive. Because the things that we're going to see in the next 10 or 20 years are going to be just,
Chat GPT alone.
Yeah, Chat GPT is.
It's like my best friend.
Who was it? Was it Isaac Asimov? I can't remember who it was. It said that on a certain level, there's no difference between, you can't tell the difference between technology and magic.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of where we're getting now with this. And I think it's just going to, if it doesn't kill us all,
right.
You know, if the toaster doesn't maximum overdrive us,
speaking of that part of it, you know, when Elon worked for, not worked for, but worked with Google, when they created AI, you know, him and that partner that owns Google, when they were creating AI, Elon was very adamant on it not being able to think.
Right.
And that was one of his biggest stipulations with creating AI was it cannot be able to think. So whenever he was getting mixed up with Trump and getting ready to do all this other stuff and then Tesla and all that, you know, he decided to leave the program.
Right.
And like he made this guy make a verbal promise. You're not going to let it think. Well, as soon as Elon was out of the picture, guess what? He made it think.
Yeah.
So Elon on Joe Rogan was saying that with them doing that, there is so much high potential that movies like iRobot could happen.
Well, it's the singularity. So, you know, the theory is that you have an AI or a computer brain, whatever you want to call it, that becomes self-aware, right? That it knows that it exists and what it is.
Right.
And that's the point where, you know, all the sci-fi movies say, well, that's
Ultron.
Yes, Ultron.
Ultron.
And it decides that the humans are a disease and they should be eradicated. You know, I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of steps that have to be made to get to that point.
But to know that there is a possibility of something like that happening, it's scary.
Yeah. So, you know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I remember listening to Joe Rogan and they were talking about the Turing test, you know, which is a test, an AI test, and to see how self-aware an AI is, and is it actually thinking, and is it, you know, or is it just operating on its code, you know? And in the last 10 years, you know, you've had AIs that have just all of a sudden it's like, whoop, it passed.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just crazy that we're alive to be witnessing all this. You know, I really thought by this point we'd all be in Jetsons cars.
Right.
Flying to work. And
I used to hear mom and dad talk about that all the time, you know, when I was a kid, and I'm like, are we going to be there? We did make it to the electric car, though.
We did make it to the electric car, and they do have what I call the giant drone car.
Yeah.
You know, still looks unsafe as shit. I need something where I can get in it and shut the hatch and push a button.
Right.
Say, take me to Hubs.
Yeah. Take me there.
You know.
Yeah. I'm going to take a nap.
That's what I need.
I
don't want to have to fly, and I'm not a pilot.
I hate flying.
I've never, you know, that's something I'm really interested in doing.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you know, if it was available.
Right.
For the right
and, you know,
price.
I think they do have something like that in the works now that they're just testing. Because the government is such a mystery on everything anyway, but because I truly believe that they've got certain things that's locked away that would make society easier, but they don't release it because of money. Like it would make them lose money.
Right.
Like say cures for certain diseases.
Yeah.
One in particular.
Yeah. I'm a huge, okay. So you've got to ask yourself, I heard a comedian say it the other day. It was the best line I've heard in a long time. He said, so there's people out there that believe what the government 100% believe what the government tell them.
Irritates the shit out of them.
And he said, so your position is that you believe 100% what the government tells you.
Right.
He said, the U.S. government is in charge. Everybody in the United States.
Yeah.
He said, I have one child. And I lie to that motherfucker every day.
Yeah. Right.
And so, I mean, it's like, you know, you know, if there's money to be made, you know, would they put money before progress?
Would they? Yeah.
Money before ease, money before the end of suffering.
Right.
You have to believe what type of human beings exist out
Yeah.
there, and it's hard if you haven't met a lot of people that, or if you've never met people of that caliber, and there are people of that caliber.
Yeah. I mean, just this year alone, on light that's been shed on certain people, you have to ask yourself, is there really people like this? Because in some instances, these people are even worse than murderers, in a certain way. Not realistically, but for somebody to be able to be as crooked as they are, what length would you go?
Right.
And it's scary.
I try to balance all this out in my mind. Everybody's a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Politicians are human beings. Cops are human beings.
Right.
And to err is human.
Yeah.
We people make terrible decisions every day.
Mm-hmm.
They have to live with those decisions, sometimes to their detriment. Sometimes they get away with it.
Yeah.
But you have to believe that those people exist, and you cannot sugarcoat things and say, well, surely he wouldn't do that.
Right.
Or they wouldn't do that.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've said that.
But the truth is, and maybe it's a long time in law enforcement, and I'm used to seeing people do terrible things to the people that are the closest to them.
Yeah.
Whether it's, something pre-planned or it's something spur of the moment, anger. I've seen people do awful things to each other.
Yeah.
For nothing less than a little bit of money, a girl, a guy.
Yeah.
And in the long run, you got to ask yourself 40 years from now. And of course, nobody's going to do this because they're mad at the time that their girlfriend or their boyfriend was with somebody else.
Right.
I'm gonna show him, or I'm gonna show her.
Yeah. And
they do something spur of the moment, and then they've got to deal with that for the rest of their lives. When in all actuality, you probably won't even remember that person.
Right.
20 years from now.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a completely different place, completely different situation.
And the thing of it is that you don't realize how powerful your own mind is against you.
Oh yeah.
Even like through decisions like that, to be able to make that decision, like that guy that laid his kids out in the front lawn and killed them. Like, to make that decision that's what I'm going to do today. Yeah. Where did that even come from?
Well, there's no way, something that heinous, there is no way that you or I or anybody else is ever going to understand the mindset that he was in.
Yeah.
To have to do something like that.
Right.
Obviously, there was some type of mental health issue there. Whether it was diagnosed or undiagnosed, I don't know, but that is a serious problem in this country.
Yeah.
And what's really bad about it is that if you spend any time, talk to a sheriff, talk to a city cop, talk to, and I'm not talking about their mental health, but having to deal with the mental health aspect in this country today. If you've got people out here on the street that are going through something, and, going through it, and you have to try to get them someplace so that they can get help. That's what you think in the beginning. That's what you think.
Yeah.
But then you realize slowly through the years that this is just this awful cycle of carrying these poor folks somewhere 2 or 3 hours off, dropping them off.
Yeah.
And then they're going to stay there for 72 hours. And they're going to give them a bunch of pills.
Right.
And then in 72 hours, they're going to put them in a taxi cab with a prescription, and they're going to say, now you go back home, take that medicine.
Yeah.
When 72 hours ago, this guy that was butt naked trying to climb trees to talk to squirrels, and now you want to make sure he gets a pill organizer, to take care of his stuff. And it's an unrealistic way to deal with it.
Because I had just watched an episode on YouTube, which I watch a lot of true crime. And this last one, to see what cops actually go through on some of these cases, like these, I think it was 3 cops that just did a normal traffic stop. And it was this woman, and I think it was just a friend of hers that was with her. And they were just doing a normal traffic stop, something about like a tail light was out or something on it. And they pulled her over and realized that she had this car crammed packed with clothes clothes and different things, suitcases, stuff like that. And she's been living out of her car. And well, the opportunity like presented itself when they took a whiff of maybe marijuana, I think is what it was. So they had a reason to search the car, and she was real antsy, you know.
Is this in the trunk?
The one in the suitcase?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. Like, to open that up and see that, like, you can't imagine what they're going through when they see that. And that one poor cop, I mean, he was tore up, you know. I mean, that really broke him.
Well, you know, what broke him wasn't the dead body, because cops see a lot of dead bodies, and it's not, you know, that's not what broke him. What broke him was the realization that somebody did this.
Yeah, that this happened.
Yes,
this situation is
somebody
here.
went through all these steps to get to where they're at right now.
Right.
And how could somebody do that?
Golly.
And, you know, and what's really crazy about it is the longer you do it, I did it for 22 years, and the longer you do it, the more numb to the visual aspect of it you become. And then, but you know, then the things will sneak up on you. You know, if you've got a woman that's been beaten beyond recognition, if you've got a child that is somehow involved in that crime, whether it's you know, abuse or neglect, or, you know, that's what, and you don't see it coming. You know, you're like, the cops, you know, cops decompress a lot, like a lot of us do. You just don't realize it is that you talk about it.
Right.
You know? And so usually what would happen is it's a pretty stressful call, something terrible, you know, and then you're back at the parking lot, everybody that was on scene, and you're laughing, and you're, you know, oh yeah, and then oh yeah, he came in and did that, you know.
Yeah.
You're trying to make some type of sense out of what you just saw.
Mm-hmm. Trying to process it all.
Like group therapy, you know, and it's you know, the same way for EMS and for fire and for anybody that does anything on a daily basis. You know, soldiers. I've known so many. There's a lot of soldiers that become cops. You know, and they usually have the darkest sense of humor. You know, and it's like, but they earned it.
Yeah,
you know, like they earned that sense of humor. And it's it might not be PC, but it's the way to deal with it. You know, and there should be. You know, cops shouldn't be afraid to go talk to somebody.
Right.
Like, you know, it's a macho thing, you know, like, and you don't want to. In my life, I've talked to a few therapists, you know, and it's like, I don't know, a couple of them were
weird.
Yeah. And then, you know, there was a couple in my life through the years that I talked to that they're just normal.
Right.
You know, I think it really, honestly, the more clinical it is, the worse it is, you know.
Yeah.
But
when I seen a therapist, which I see one now, you know, because I was thinking about movies. You know, I was thinking it was like the movies where you lay down on the couch, you know, you talk it out.
Start the timer.
Right. And the therapist is listening to your problems and then just kind of giving you insights on different things.
It's not like that at all.
It's not like that at all. It's like you're just talking to somebody else. Like you have a license to talk to somebody and you get paid quite a bit of money to talk to somebody.
They're just kind of, you're the one dictating the conversation.
Yeah.
They're just kind of steering it one way or another. You know, it's, I mean, I would say that for a lot of people, it would be very refreshing.
Yeah.
But there is the stigma about it that, you know, I can handle my own problems.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't.
No,
you can't.
And to have that one person though that you can talk to about absolutely anything is a certain type of feeling. You know, I mean, it really helps.
Yeah.
To be able to get that out and get somebody's feedback from it that you know that's not going to go out to the world.
Right.
You know. And that's what I liked about it. You know, with me being a recovering addict, I had a lot to decompress, you know, on that aspect of it.
You know who's got the most opinions on addicts?
Who's that?
People that have never been addicted to anything in their entire life.
Dude. Like you get that same speech. Like, won't you just quit?
Just quit. It's a choice.
Yeah, it's all in your head.
Yeah, I've heard it all through the years. And, you know, hey, man, my greatest stories, you know, from being a cop, you know, it's not arresting somebody. I mean, there were some fun things that, you know, his pursuits were always scary and fun, you know, and that's all great and stuff. But the things that I took with me when I left was the people through the years that I've seen just absolutely bootstrap that shit. You know what I'm saying? Pull themselves up.
Right.
Out of just the absolute lowest that they could possibly be.
Yeah.
And be something and be successful and, you know, find that drive again and put that energy towards, you know, something in life. I don't think Wayne Collin watches the podcast, but we'll use him as an example. I know I got a call one day for Wayne out there and I went to his house and he was struggling and we sat in my cruiser for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Talking, you know, and he went and just flipped the script, you know.
Right.
He comes in a restaurant constantly and I see him. He's always out here, you know, spreading the word of the Lord and visiting people. And it's just like, you know, like, yeah, that's good stuff, you know, like that. And I'm not saying that I had anything to do with it. He did all the hard work, but to see somebody, you know, turn themselves around. Like
there's nothing like a good success story.
No, there isn't. And there's a million stories of absolute misery that I could, you know, sit here and tell you, but that really isn't what I took with me.
Because I really want to be an advocate for, you know, addicts and stuff like that because, you know, Fulton County for the longest has just been riddled with, you know.
Well, I mean, if you don't have joy in your life, if you're not doing something that brings you joy or there's not something in your life that brings you, you know, whether it's what you do for a living, your family, your whatever your financial situation, whatever it is that brings joy to you, if you don't have that, it's hard for anybody to have an opinion on, well, you know, they started smoking this or taking that, you know, and it was like 99% of the time it's some void that somebody has that causes them to do that.
Yeah, exactly,
you know?
right.
And you got to figure out what that void is, and that isn't I've seen some hellacious battles with it, you know, but I've seen people that fought it for a long time, you know, and finally it's just, you know, and it's never
be able to turn it off.
Yeah, and it's
tough. And that's what I'm trying to get that message out because for the sobers, you know, the sober people out there that has, you know, struggling family members that are addicts or even friends that, I mean, they're going to judge them. There's no way around it. You're going to judge, but the only way to help them is to be there for them, for one, you know, give them the best advice you can. Preaching to them is not going to help a thing. Nothing. That's just going to push them farther, deeper in because they need tender love and kindness is what they need. Whether they deserve it or not at the time, that's not going to matter. You preaching and cussing at them is not going to help a damn thing. Trying to find them some help. And there is a point. There is people out there that just don't give a damn and they're going to do drugs whether you like it or not. There are those people. And those people, you're not going to help. You're not going to help alone. Only God can help. But if you do have somebody that is wanting help, that is the best way to do it is to be kind to them. Don't judge them. Try to find them the best help that they can get and pray for the best, you know.
You know, there's two ways it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And statistically, one way works better than the other, but you got to hit rock bottom.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have that last thing that you're going to lose. And then that's it. You've made a decision. I'm not going to do this anymore. It's either that or, you know, through some type of mediation or counseling or something, you decide, okay, I'm going to help myself. I'm in a bad situation.
Right.
You know, like you said, you can sit and preach to them and tell them, you know, that this is wrong or, you know, it's against the law or but, you know, just as soon as they make bail, they have one thing on their mind, you know, and it is a terrible cycle to be caught up in. And I'm not saying that there's not a lot of help out there for them to get because there is help available, but it's not always as easy to navigate that as it should be.
Right.
You know,
and nowadays we've got, you know, a lot of addicts' big thing is I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to face nobody. You know, I don't want to be in this group thing. But there's things out there now that, and I was one of them people. I didn't want to be, you know, labeled in front of people, but what I found was Groups Recover Together, and that's just a damn phone app, you know?
Right.
And it's all Zoom. And it made me feel so comfortable to be able to sit in my own home and go to a group.
Right.
And talk to other people that are struggling, talk to the counselor. And it really helped me.
Matt Carter, when he was sheriff in McCracken County, he had started a program, which was basically, if you find one of his sheriff's deputies, and I believe Paducah Police Department was in on this too, but if you find a police officer, a law enforcement official, and you walk up to him and you say, "Hey, man, I need some help."
Yeah.
They had partnered with a couple of different organizations that were going to get you someplace.
Right.
Like they were going to cut all the red tape.
Yeah.
And they were going to get you someplace. I applaud that.
Yeah.
But how many addicts do you know they're going to find a cop?
Right.
And be like, "Hey."
Yeah.
You know, because in their mind, they're thinking, well, if I go up to him,
I'm going to jail.
I'm going.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
so
yeah,
that's but I mean, every little bit helps.
And that's kind of a small dream of mine, is to be able to build a place here in Fulton County, just a center that somebody can come to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's not a cop.
Yeah. You
can come in and I will find you the help right then. You know, I would love to have something like that here. I know that West Baptist Church. What is that? What's that, Trey?
Celebrate Recovery.
Celebrate Recovery.
Yeah.
I went to that when it was here at Casey Baptist, and you know that's a great thing. That's a great.
I hear a lot of people talk about it, and I hear good things.
Yeah,
I know the court likes to, Judge Langford specific really likes,
right?
People to attend that,
mm-hmm.
and I've seen some success stories come out of it. But there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, there needs to be a lot more than that.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, and that's always been another thing, is that you never knew where you were going to find it.
Right.
Sometimes you found it with people that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
And those people, so there's a whole other level, right, that you don't even look at. So you've got somebody out here that's addicted to somebody. Everybody knows, that this person's got a problem.
Right.
But what about that person that's a functioning addict?
Yeah.
Can go to work every day,
mm-hmm.
and is stuck in this cycle that's slowly eating them away, and those people would be the ones that would, they're going to have a hard time.
Right.
Just one admitting to anybody else,
yeah,
that's what's happening.
That they've got a problem to begin with.
Yep. Yeah.
And that happens a lot in alcohol,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to face the reality that they have a problem.
Yeah. Well, alcohol is a whole other, even though it's the same, it's different, because, just like everything, if you want some meth, you can't go to the meth store. There's no meth store.
There's no meth store. Yeah.
But there is a liquor store.
Yeah.
Just about every place you go.
And alcohol's a beast, man. Yeah. In the group that I've joined, that's what they teach. Alcohol is actually the worst drug on the planet.
It'll straight up kill you.
Yeah. And it's worse. Yeah.
It'll kill you.
It's worse than coming off of meth.
Yeah. You'll have seizures and everything else.
Yeah.
I've seen terrible,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
alcohol withdrawal. And it, like I said, it's when you go to Walmart to buy some bologna,
right? Yeah,
you walk right past the aisle where all of your drug of choice is.
Yeah,
so
just easy.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast. But
so you was a cop for 22 years.
I was. Yep.
So I'm sure your head's full of good stories. Then what's the worst thing you ever had to do, or worst case you ever had to deal with?
There's the ones that come to mind are usually stuff that involves children.
Yeah.
Child abuse.
Right.
Terrible. Probably, most shocking things was, and always will be, car accidents.
Yeah.
To a certain level, if you're going to somebody's house every week, and they're fist fighting in the front yard, and then one of them gets really mad, puts the other one in the hospital. That's not it's shocking, but it's not surprising.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of see it coming. Car accidents are terrible because it's acute.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened, and it can happen to anybody.
Right.
And yeah, those were always tough.
Yeah.
You know, I was around for the beginning of meth.
Yeah.
You know, and those early days it was wild.
Oh,
it
imagine.
was just wild. You know, back when people were cooking antidote and dripping anhydrous tanks and cooking on stove tops and blowing stuff up and blowing cars up and, you know, all that stuff. It was just wild. There's nothing like that now. You know, most of your dope now comes from the cartels, but it's just cheaper and easier to buy it that way. But oh man, those early days where it was self-supplied, you know, I can remember going into a house, I won't say where it was at, and this is early on. It was so early on that the county attorney wouldn't give me a search warrant based on the smell of ether.
Oh, well.
Now here's the thing. So now, if you were living in a neighborhood where you had 4 houses around you, and you and your kids were out in the backyard grilling, and all of a sudden you smelled ether, which has a pretty distinct smell.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You called the cops, and the cops showed up. You know, nowadays they're gonna have a search warrant in 10 minutes because there's no reason for there to be that smell.
Right.
And so the county attorney would not. We knew which house it was coming from. They had a fan set up in the window. So the county attorney wouldn't give us a search warrant. He said, you're just gonna have to go knock on the door. Yeah. All right. You know,
all right, then.
So we went in there and knocked on the door. Door was up. It's this guy I went to high school with. He's in his tidy whities.
Oh,
right. He's got a Marlboro Red hanging out of his mouth.
There's
a gas stove over in the corner.
Yeah.
This is, you know, winter-ish. It was cold outside. Gas stove in the corner. And I said, man, what are you doing? You know, I'll just sit there watching television. I said, yeah. I said, if we step inside, you know, yeah, come on in. And I said, man, look, I'm just going to flat out ask you, what does this smell?
Yeah.
He looks around. Well, it's probably that jug of ether over there in the corner. I said, oh, really? So they had a, it looked like a big mason jar, like an oversized mason jar in the corner of the room, about that big. So you're probably looking at over a gallon.
Right.
In this jar. And there's no lid on it. There's no lid on it. They had been in the bathroom cooking some bathtub dope back here in the back room. The two guys that were cooking it. See, this was his angle. He said, hey, man, like, this ain't mine. Right? Like, the two guys,
it's always
which actually turned out to be the truth.
Oh, nice.
So these guys showed up at his house. I'm not going to say that he was touched.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And so he let him in, you know, and said, yeah. And they said, hey, can we use your bathroom? Hey, you know, we bring some stuff in. And so they did. So we ended up pulling him out. And I swear to you, if the state police had a cleanup team that you had to call.
Yeah.
This is how early it was. This is, I mean, brand new to us. And so they come down, and first thing is everybody out of the house.
Yeah.
Wait for us to get there. Right. So while he's outside the house, we managed to secure a search warrant. Right. We got him sitting in the back of the car. We let him put some pants on.
Right.
So he's in the back of the car. We're waiting for the state police to get her. And they finally show up. We've got our search warrant. Everybody goes inside. The state police are like, there's enough ether in this house to blow this house up and every house on the other side of the house. He said, we're talking smoke and crater in the earth, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, you know? So they get all that taken care of, and we go back inside. And then in the back bathroom, there was, you know, plastic bags full of lithium strips, and I mean, all the little things, you know.
Everything that's needed, huh?
And it's just like, really? Right here?
Right here.
Yeah. Couldn't find a farmhouse out in the county somewhere, you know, like right here in the middle of town.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty big deal. You know, those big labs back, you know, early on, pulling a car over, and these two little sweaty guys in the front seat, you know, like, hey, what are you guys doing? You know, you're from Missouri. What are you guys doing down here? Oh, we was visiting some friends. Where you visiting them at? Oh, up the road up there. Oh, you mean by Bardwell? And he's like, yeah, up by Bardwell. I'm like, Bardwell's down 51 Highway. That's the way to Columbus, you know. So, you know, we got this chemical smell in here, you know. And that pop trunk.
There it is.
There it is, you know. And it was just, you never knew when you were going to run into it. But
I was working for the Fulton County Road Department one time, right after the ice storm. Right after the ice storm. And we were doing one of the ice storm cleanup, where we were just cleaning up all the branches and shit that had fell. And we were somewhere out there by Crutchfield.
Yeah.
And we were going over this overpass, and we had to weed eat it right there. So we got out and we started weed eating it. And I looked down in the ditch, and it was a pretty good sized ditch that run underneath that bridge. And I was just kind of looking at it, and it was a Ziploc bag, like one of the 2-gallon Ziploc bags, and it had some shit in it, and it was just sitting up perfectly right, and it was zipped at the top. And I'm like, what is that? And I looked a little closer, and it had aluminum foil and all kinds of other stuff in there. So one of the guys that was working with me, he jumped down there, he grabbed it, brought it back up. He said, dude, I think this is like cooking meth in here, because that we smelt it, then. So we called the cops, and the cops come out there, and sure enough, that's what it was. And inside this bag, not only was the meth being cooked, but it was his driver's license and some of his personal mail. So they knew exactly whose it was.
You got to give it up to that guy, right? You got to give it up to that guy. So yeah, one of the first dripping cases that I worked, there was so I don't know, you know where Farmer's Gin is at?
Oh yeah.
So Farmer's Gin sitting there. I think there was 300,000+ gallons of anhydrous sitting there at
Oh,
any given time. And so if you go off the property from Farmer's Gin through that little tree line right there, you pop out on the golf course.
oh yeah.
So these guys had come from Missouri, and they had set up a trailer, I think, at Columbus Park Camper, and they were coming down at night and dripping those tanks. So what they would do is they'd go to the golf course, they'd park their truck, drop them off, they'd run, get a golf cart, they'd go down to the woods, right? They'd take their buckets and their tanks over there, and they'd drip the tanks, and then they would put them back in the golf cart, haul them back up to where the truck was at.
Yeah.
Then they'd bring the golf cart back, and nobody was any the wiser, right? Well, we had caught one of them, and then he ended up spilling the whole story. But the amazing part about it was after we got them all rounded up, we got them in there questioning them. The one guy said, "Man, you want to hear something crazy?" I was like, "I always want to hear something crazy." And he said, the second night that we were here, and they'd been there for about a week. Second night that we were here, we had got the golf cart, and we were zipping down the hill to the tree line. And we got right to the tree line. We saw something flashing at us, and it was 4 guys in a golf cart coming back at us.
Yeah.
With the tanks on the back.
Oh my God.
And he said, we just drove by each other and looked, threw our hands up. We went down and did our thing. So, I mean, it was going on constantly.
Wow.
And I remember going to him down there and saying, "Hey man, yeah, thought about putting," because at that time they had one night watchman, and I think he was 118 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a character, but that was it. They hardly had any lights out there. There was no fence. There was no nothing. And it was like, hey, but at that time it was so cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a little loss here or there. It's not really our problem.
Right. Right.
It's I had a guy one time. There's a picture, I still have it, and we didn't even know what it was. Really, honestly, we found out what it was, but they had all the components to do it, and they had stole a little bit of anhydrous. These guys were from Missouri, and the reason I know they were from Missouri is because we ended up they got in their minivan, and they were looking for someplace to cook, so they tried to find an abandoned property. Somehow or another, they ended up at the end of Blair Street. And Blair Street is a predominantly African American community. And I remember one of the guys that lived across the street from the abandoned house. He calls and said, "I need to talk to Derek." So I called him back. He said, "Hey man, there's like 3 white guys over here at this house in a minivan." And I was like, "Okay," So me and another cop rolled up down there. As soon as we hit the end of the block, out across the field, right?
Yeah.
And there was propane tanks that were frosty green and tubing and all kinds of stuff, burners. And, But they had a couple of guns. They had walkie-talkies.
Wow, they were going all out.
They had binoculars.
Damn.
And the great thing about it was that guy was nice enough to etch his name. His name and what city he was living in.
Wow.
On all of that stuff. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
That greatly, because it saved us a lot of time. But, those days were, it was wild.
Drugs will make you dumb.
Yeah, it will make you take some risks.
Yeah, very much.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a big part of the early on days. The later on days when I got into it, the job just, I don't know when it changed exactly, but it changed.
Yeah,
and God bless anybody that's out there doing that job now, because the public's perception of police could not be worse than what it is right now. And sometimes that is self-inflicted.
Yeah.
But I will say this, have you ever gone to Walmart, or you go to a restaurant, you get real shitty service. Person's having a bad day, something like that. You leave there with a bad taste in your mouth. Like, that was kind of jerk.
No tip.
Yeah, no tip for you, cops are the same way.
Yeah.
There's so many interactions with police every day that it's just, nobody talks about that part of it.
No.
But you have all this information now.
Yeah.
And, it's the whole thing just changed to the point where as soon as you got out of the car, and I never tried to be, anybody that ever dealt with me as a cop, I never jumped out of a car in my life and been like, aggressive,
right.
Overly aggressive, like that shit never works. It never works, and I worked with a bunch of guys that that's who I wanted to work with. I wanted the guys that were good talkers, that could de-escalate a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guys that got out of the car already wound up to 11.
Right. Yeah.
And that was always,
because it never ends well.
No, it never does. And it's always a struggle. And so that started to become more and more prevalent. Not that the cops were turned up to 11 so much as the people were turned up to 11.
Yeah.
You'd get out of a car, just a basic argument, and you'd say, you ain't going to shoot me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not. I had no plans on shooting anybody.
Right.
Like, I don't, it just started slowly changing into, I know what you guys are about.
And 98% of the time, you can read a person.
Yep.
If you're paying attention good enough, you can read how it's going to go just by their first word, really. And, that's what I was talking with Trey about too. And, you can get on YouTube and see all the worst cops in the world all the time. And most of the time, they're just either fresh out of the academy, just cock strong, ready to get out there and deal with people. And then you got those ones that you can just tell those are good cops,
right.
Just by the way they talk, way they present themselves. And then the other ones, they're just out to make people's life shit,
Yeah, in my opinion, here's my opinion. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Give it to me.
Here's my opinion, right, wrong, or indifferent. So the guy's shift that is a Louisville Metro cop, and he goes and does his 8 or 10 hours in Louisville, is completely different than my 8 to 10 hour shift here in Hickman.
Yeah.
There are some pros and cons to each of them.
Right.
Is the guy in Louisville going to be a little more high strung?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the guy in Hickman is no less of a cop.
Right.
Because he has his own battles to fight. Like I can remember one night called, said, hey, there's some people fighting.
Yeah.
On this street here in Hickman. I was only, guys, 2:00 in the morning, And so I pull up to the end of the street. I look down the street, and there are no less than 30 people standing in the middle of the road just throwing hands.
Right.
Handing out 2 pieces. And it was just like, damn, I'm like, oh, here I am. Hey, I need some backup, Well, here's the joke with your backup. You're going to get one of 2 things. You are going to get the guy that, puts his Class A's on, sure his buttons are straight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He shows up, he's 10-8. That's not the guy I wanted.
Right.
I wanted the guy that showed up in his damn house slippers.
Yeah.
With his damn pajama pants on, a half-ass uniform shirt with a gun belt hanging off because he ain't got no snaps on it. that's the dude that you wanted because he was going to get there quicker. But quick in Hickman was, if you were lucky, somebody might get to you in 20, 25, 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I lived in Clinton, or when I was a cop in Clinton, sometimes it was worse than that. There had been times that I've called for backup and they met me at the jail. They called and said, yeah, that whole thing happened, and it's just a different breed. And I'm not saying that cops in the big city don't call for backup and it takes a minute, but there are other cops in that city.
Yeah.
Buddy, when you're out here in these small towns, it's you.
It's you. Yeah.
It's you.
You against the world.
When I went to work at Fulton Police Department, where it was first night, I was like, man, I could talk to people on the radio.
Yeah.
Like somebody answered on the radio. Like it was just a whole different thing. You get on a traffic stop in Fulton and you'd be up there talking to that person. All of a sudden, you look behind you, the other car was there and the other cop was like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's just different.
That's how it is in Union City too. You get pulled over by one car and then you're sitting there, the car or the cop comes up, gets your stuff, and you're just kind of sitting there waiting. Yep. And then you look in the rearview mirror and there's like 8 more that's then pulled up.
Yep.
And you're like, shit. Hickman? No, just the one.
Yeah, you're gonna get one. Hey, but if there's more than one in Hickman, there's some business going on there. There's something's happening. That's I do miss the job. I miss the people.
Yeah.
In the job, but I don't miss the political aspect of that job at all.
Yeah.
I don't have any political aspirations anymore. I work for the state highway department now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're on coast mode now.
So I come in and Sam's like, this is what we're doing today, Derek, you're in 4052.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like it, sometimes I'm like, shit,
I kind of miss that too.
Yeah, but it's a great job because I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And I know when that's done, then it's over with.
Yeah, you're going home.
I'm going home, and I've been blessed with, being able to go home at we're getting off at 2:30 now. We're at 6 to 2:30. I'm at home at 2:30 every day. I get to go to all my daughter's softball practices, my son's football games. I get to, do all these things that I never got to. I've got a couple of kids, my sons. I think they borderline don't like me. I think that's really what it is.
Yeah.
But, they're all, they get tore up because, I go to Kagan's practices or I'll go to these tournaments, you take a Kagan all this.
Yeah.
Well, Kagan a bat, like you never did that stuff for us. And I was like, man, brother, I was broke and I was never around. I was, I was
freaking cop, man.
I was working midnights or afternoons and it sucked. And, I hate that, I missed that portion of their lives, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, man. I had a lot of fun being a cop.
Yeah.
And, a lot of great memories just right here in this town.
Right.
So,
as a cop, you get to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows me knows that I love to talk.
Right.
I love to talk to people. I like to catch up, see what's going on. And
how was it being like the sheriff?
Yeah.
Like you was the man.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like I said, I was a cop for a long time, and then all of a sudden I was the sheriff, and God bless him, Robbie, asked me to come over and be his chief deputy.
Yeah.
And then through these terrible set of circumstances, I wound up in that position, and I look back on it and, probably, what imposter syndrome is?
I think.
Yeah. So imposter syndrome is, when you're in a position that you don't believe that you should be in.
Oh, yeah.
I struggled with that right off the bat. Like, am I even supposed to be doing this?
Right.
Thank God I had a great bunch of people that I was working with that kind of kept me, look, and this is all I would ever ask of any boss. If you're a boss or you're a manager or you're the top of the food chain and you're surrounding yourselves with people that everything you say, they say, man, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Then you're screwed.
Screwed.
It might 100%. Not be today, but it'll be on down the road somewhere. It's going to bite you in the ass. You should surround yourself with people who aren't afraid to say, what if we do this? Even if it's not right.
Right.
You should be entertaining different, options. And so I was kind of blessed with that.
Innovators.
Yeah. Well, and not so much innovators, just somebody to keep you tethered to the earth.
Yeah.
Look, the last thing that I ever wanted in my entire life was to be important.
Right.
There's a lot of weight that comes with being important. There's a lot of weight that comes with being a politician. If you want to put yourself out there and be responsible, then you have to be able to handle that weight. Heavy as the crown. So it's not all bunnies and clouds. I think I had a pretty good run because I had a pretty good fiscal court at the time, and nobody in fiscal court ever really gave me any problems. I can imagine what that job would be like if you had a fiscal court that was kind of on the fence. That would have been a tough ride. But nah, man, I mean, it was a good job.
Right.
And like I said earlier, I'll go right back to it. It's the political aspect of it is not always the best,
especially now. And the way the world has changed in general, just the way people think these days, and I guess ultimately how the government has raised this generation to be in a certain way is it's just terrible to manage. Like, I mean,
the entitlement of people.
Yeah.
And I really, honest to God, and I don't mean to sound like an old man yelling at a cloud, but like all of the information, all of the entertainment, all of that right now, and you have that.
Right.
You have this ability to learn things on the fly on your phone. You're sitting in the truck, or you're on the pod taking a dump, whatever it is, man. You're soaking in information. You get all this information at one time, and I feel like that has bled over into other parts of our lives as to we want this instant gratification. And so it's I'm going to hire people that are like, it took me how many years to be a supervisor, just to be a first line supervisor. And you got people now that come into jobs that are like, hey, I want his job.
Yeah.
Well, that dude's been there for 20 years.
Right.
You got to put in your bones before you do that. Nah, man. And then it becomes an issue because they think you're, slighting them or that they can't do it. But you got to put in the work to do that.
The know-it-alls too, man.
And so, that's,
I can't tell you how many people that I've talked to just this year alone that's fresh out of either college or fresh out of high school even. And like have asked me, are y'all hiring? Well, yeah, we're hiring. Well, I need a job, man. I need a job. Well, what's it start out at? Yeah. And I'm like, $16.50 is pretty good money. Oh, no. Yeah. I need to have at least $20.
Yeah, $20. Yeah,
$20. For what? Yeah. Like, what are you worth? Yeah. You got to be worth that money before you can make it.
Yeah, it's and some of that is it costs more to live now.
Yeah, it does.
Things are more expensive. I understand that, but at the same time, I took this job at the State Highway Department. When me and Trey took the job, we took it at the same time. It started out at $15 an hour.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
We've since raised it. Now these newer guys that are hiring are making more than that. But the great thing about it is the longer you stay, the more money you make. And it's,
and the more experience you get under your belt, the stuff you learn.
Yeah. I think Trey makes 50 cents less than everybody else. But I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But, it's a good job. I don't know that I've had a job where it's just constantly laughing, because it's somebody does something every day that you're right. It's just funny.
Never a dull moment.
No, good group of guys to work with, and nobody's super serious, and it's, we get the work done and we cut up and have a good time.
And that really makes a difference on a job that you have, a job that you enjoy having.
Yeah.
You can get up, go to work every day and not worry about a thing other than getting your job done. And then, your normal worry and stress of bills and stuff like that. But, being able to go to a job that you enjoy and enjoy the people you work with, that really does a lot for a person.
Yeah. Your mental health, like, and people ask me all the time, well, how do you know, how are you doing? You know, you're not a cop anymore. You know, I gonna get back into it. I'm like, no,
I'm good.
And they're like, well, you know, I'm just, you know, in my head wise, I'm in a whole different place.
Yeah.
You know, like wellness than I was. I mean, there was some serious stress that came with that job, and it's just like that's all gone now. You know,
it's all gone. Yeah. I worked for the state myself for 4 years, you know, and I do regret leaving, but I was stuck at 1325 for that whole 4 years. I know money's not everything,
but it is something.
It is something. You've got to get to a point.
And I not that I'm some sage of knowledge or something, but like Trey and Cullen are in a completely different boat than I am.
Yeah.
You know, these are young guys that are just starting out their careers, and Cullen's got a family. You know, it's just everybody wants something different from the job.
Yeah.
And is money as important to me as it is to him? I mean, it's important,
right?
But it's super important to, you know, to somebody that's a little bit younger than I am.
Yeah.
And so I don't fight the same battles in my head every day that they do.
Right.
But, you know, as far as a legacy job goes, I don't know. You know, as far as I can tell, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's a good retirement job for sure.
Let me run shit, man. You know, like,
hey,
get on this piece of equipment here and run it. You know,
right.
And you're like, all right. You know?
And then it's there to even practice on. Yes. You know, when I was at the state barn in Hickman County, you know, I didn't know how to run a backhoe. I lied my ass off to Tommy Ingram. You know, my first day, he's like, "Have you ever run a front end loader before?" I'm like, "Oh yeah,
yeah. Who hasn't?"
Yeah. I thought, okay, he's fixing to tell me to go get some rock, you know, put it in a dump truck or something. I can learn that right now. Yeah. No, he wanted me to drive it down the road and go to another location.
Oh.
I thought about it for a second, but I'm like, he'll never put me in it again if I tell him I've never run one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So in the state barn area there, they all drove off, went to the lot, and I'm like, I got to learn this right now.
Yourself a quick lesson right there.
I jumped in there and I'm like, I'm driving it around. I'm like learning all this stuff. And by the time I got up there to the site, I knew how to do it, you know?
Yeah, it's you know, I've driven the joke of all jokes. I had my CDL. You know, I drove a truck for a while after Goodyear shut down. And had my CDL, and I got back into law enforcement, and I was like, I'll never need this again.
Yeah.
And so I turned it over, and lo and behold, here I am. I get hired at the state highway department. They're like, hey, you got to go get your CDL.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Right.
So
I got a funny story about a CDL on that aspect. That's how I got mine, was at the state barn. And, you know, you got 6 months to get it.
Right.
So 5 months and like 29 days, I got it. I failed it like 3 times, you know, and I failed it so many times and I almost lost my job that I had to go all the way to Owensboro to do the driving test.
Oh, man.
I had to do my driving test in Owensboro.
Nice.
And I'm so lucky that I had a cop riding with me that knew the situation. I'm driving through Owensboro, nervous wreck, and he's like, "What did that sign say?" I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I'm like, I got to pay attention to the road, man.
Was that a Cracker Barrel sign?
Yeah.
Man, look, second time I went through it was just absolute torture.
Right.
Because other than the pre-trip inspection, you know, when we got to the actual driving part, I refreshed myself on backing and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the first day we drove on the road, we get in the truck and he's like, okay, I'm going to let you drive. You're going to drive us to the, the industrial park there in Paducah. So I got it and I drove it all the way to the industrial park. Never drove the truck again. The entire time we were there, I said, look, man, just let these guys, the 2 guys from Murray that work for the road department, I said, they've never driven a truck before.
Yeah.
Let them drive. You know, like you don't have to show me how to, you know, double clutch and all that stuff. I've done this before. And so I never did. I never drove again. But, you know, it was torture because it was like, man, it was like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And it's, you know, just like, I can't believe I'm doing this again.
Yeah.
But hey, let me tell you something. Anybody out there that's like, I just don't, you know, I want to make some money.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Once you got a CDL, I'll never let that damn thing go.
No, I wish I never had.
If you've got a CDL, you will never need a job.
Yeah.
Like there's a job out there for you somewhere.
Right.
So
I know I need to get mine back. I think I'm going to.
Yeah, but you know what I was saying was I drove a truck before. I drove tractors a couple times before for Greg. You know, helping around the farm and stuff. So I was familiar with all that. I never drove a backhoe.
Yeah.
I drove a front end loader.
Right.
You know, but
they're fun.
They are, and they're not as hard as you think they are to drive.
No.
You know, I'm not. I'm not the go-to guy for the backhoe. My favorite thing to do is run that mow trim.
Mm-hmm.
Mow trim is the best.
I love the mow trim.
I could run that. I told Sam it's like Zen because it's like, you know, when you mow your yard and you get done, it's like a crisp day.
Lovely.
And you get done, you turn around and look at things you've done.
Yeah.
You know, maybe sit on the porch and smell that fresh cut grass.
Right.
That's what it's like to just obliterate those trees on the side of the road.
Yeah.
You know, and you look back and you're like, now it's, you know, 6 feet back in. You're like, I did a good job.
Man, it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, my wife, God bless Ashley, we'd be out driving around and I'll be, when we went up Troy Avenue the other day where we cut that back, and I said, look what I did.
Yeah, look at that.
She's like, oh, that's great, babe. That really is wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, nobody gives a shit. But
yeah, right.
Yeah, my kids are like, what do you do for a living, Dad? I'm like, I fuck all these trees up.
Yeah.
Here,
Take them all down. Take
them all down.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's rewarding in its own way.
It is. It is. I always enjoyed just the mowing.
Okay. Well, I'll go on record. I think Trey will back me up on this. I don't dislike mowing.
Yeah.
I dislike mowing when shit just keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you look back and your mower is flipped and you're dragging it up because the wheel fell off, the guard fell off.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
And the first few times I mowed, they put me on that old sickle mower.
Oh, God.
I got the oldest damn tractor there.
Yeah.
And they got this old ass deck I'm pulling behind it. And it's just
open cab.
It's got two. No, it's closed cab.
Oh.
But it's got two settings, you know, when you're picking your deck up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
It's either up all the way.
Right.
Or you just barely
can't get it right. Yeah,
ground, you know? And so there's no in between. And I was so frustrated. And I mean, I can remember one of the guys was like, I don't know what's wrong with Derek, man. He ain't mowing. He's just sitting in the lot up there. It's because I wanted to bang my face against the windshield.
Right,
it's
right.
like, man, this thing just would not run right. But like, they've got them up and running now to where they're pretty good. And you know, we don't even use the sickle mower that much, but I'll run somebody else's tractor every now and then. Right. It's like, this is a much more enjoyable experience.
Shit, I gotta give it to Tom Ingram, man. He always had them tractors pretty good.
Yeah.
I never had a problem unless something I did, you know, to mess it up. But, you know, my last year there, I finally got into a closed cab. I always mowed with an open cab. Yeah. And I finally got with a closed cab and finally got the bat wing and loved it. Like I put my podcast on or whatever it is in the cab and just cruise and mow. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll get the mow trim and I'll put an earbud in.
Yeah.
One earbud in. I got my radio right here.
Right.
Cruising down through there, cut trees. And they'll have to tell me, like, hey, man, we got 10 minutes to get back.
Man, it's break time.
It's been break time over here, you know. Like, it's like, okay, well, I'm heading back to the barn. But it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. I always enjoyed it myself. Hopefully one day AI won't take it over.
Yeah. Oh. AI. So yeah, taking your job over. Somebody else said that to me the other day. One of these days we're gonna be working for the robots. You know, it's like, yeah. I think that what you're gonna end up seeing is like a shift in things that we don't have to do anymore.
Right.
You know, like do you remember when if you wanted somebody to have a letter, right? Then you had to write that letter, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, take it to a mailbox and mail it.
Right.
It's not like that anymore. You know, since then we've gone through several iterations of fax machines and now we're emails and, you know, but yes, did the person that delivered that letter suffer because of that? Yes, probably. But somebody's got to build those computers. Somebody's got to, you know, there are, I think the jobs that we currently have that AI is going to be able to help with, you're going to have another subset of jobs that are created to kind of help steer that in the right direction.
Yeah, it's going to be like a babysitting job.
Right. And so I don't know, when it comes to manual labor, I don't know that AI, I think we're a long way from AI ever digging a ditch or mowing, but
I wish I could agree with you on that.
I'll tell you what, it's creepy.
Yeah.
If you want super creepy, I booked a hotel a couple months back, and I'm sitting there talking to this woman, just like you and I are talking right now. It was probably that towards the end, and they're verifying everything. And the end of it is like you take a survey to how our AI did answering this phone call.
What?
I never talked to a person. I talked to an AI that I couldn't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
And when I had to go home, take a shower. I mean, it was like,
I had to get clean.
Yeah, dude, it was weird, man.
Yeah.
And so, that is strange. Now, I think you're going to see semis. I think you're going to see trains.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see anything vehicular.
Yeah.
It's heading that direction rapidly.
Like I was telling Trey, I had listened to Theo Vaughn's podcast, and he had a creator of Chat GPT on it. And Theo, I love him to death. He's like great entertainment.
He said we had the teacher come in and let us pet all the pets. He said, I had a pet, and his kid walked up, he had a fish.
Yeah.
I said, you ain't learning nothing. You a fish murderer.
Yeah.
I love Theo.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
But he always asks the right questions, and that's kind of the questions that he was asking. Like, what is this AI going to be able to do? And this guy is explaining some of the shit that could be coming. And going back to the backhoe thing, you're going to have a backhoe and a front end loader, for instance, and a dump truck, all three in AI mode. And what that's going to be able to do is the backhoe is going to be able to go out here to this ditch. And you as the person is going to be able to tell this backhoe, this is what this ditch is doing wrong, and this is what we need it to do.
Right.
And it's just going to do it. And
I can get behind that.
That backhoe is going to be able to communicate with the front end loader and the dump truck. And if the backhoe comes up with the scenario of I'm needing, say, river rock.
Right.
Then it's going to communicate it to the front end loader back at the barn, and then the dump truck that's right there with it. And that dump truck's just going to drive to the barn. The backhoe's going to be able to load up exactly what it needs. The dump truck's then going to come back out to the site, dump it, and the backhoe's going to build it as it's envisioned.
You know where I'm going to be in all this?
Where?
I'm going to be in 4052. I'm going to be flagging.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I need AI to take over flagging.
Right.
That's what I need. I don't care about the dump truck. I need you to get me out this road, man.
Yeah, let's not stand out here in the blistering sun. Now, I got a good story about flagging for you. I was flagging on 129 in Fulton, and I was just flagging along, and I had a car come through, and I just let a bunch of them through, and there was one coming in the horizon. So I radioed to Corey when he was working at Hickman County, and I said, I got one more coming behind it. I turned with my paddle. I was walking back to the truck, and this woman's rearview mirror grazed my elbow and slammed into the back of the truck. If I'd have been a centimeter to the left, she would have pinned me from, in between her and the truck. Killed me. That was 2 days before I left.
I've said this since the end of the first week that I worked for the State Highway Department, and everybody out there in podcast land can take this advice. If Rent-A-Center's looking for you, they're looking for their furniture. If the bill collector is looking for you, the best place to hide is in a truck with yellow lights on it. Because nobody will ever find your ass.
No,
nobody sees you.
Nobody sees it.
It's like John Cena. You're done. Like I've seen some of the wildest stuff. I didn't see you there, and it's like I look like a giant tennis ball. Yeah. And I've got I probably got yellow underwear on when I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all high vis. I got 6 trucks out here with flashing lights on it.
Didn't see it.
Never saw you. And it was like you passed 6 signs on the way here.
Right.
Like it was road work ahead, merge ahead, 1 lane road ahead. There's a flagger. And then there was another 2 signs that were like, we're not kidding. Like,
they're really up there.
They're really up there. You might want to slow down, you know.
Oh my God.
I remember we were flagging one day and I had the sign in my hand, you know, the paddle, and this woman she just got stopped to where I had the paddle in the window of the car between her and the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I was like, stop. You know?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what happened. I could not see you, you know?
Yeah. Couldn't see it all.
Yeah, I try, and I'm not some master flagger, but I've stood in the road for a long time.
Right.
Standing in the road with blue lights behind you is a whole different ball game. You know, if anything, standing in the road with blue lights behind you will get people to go the other way.
Right.
Standing there with yellow, it's like, man, these people are in my way. I'm trying to get to, you know, wherever I'm going, and why they had to pick the day to do this road work, and there's just so many variables. And I'll tell you another one. Is this? You can see it coming.
Yeah.
You look up and you're like, what's that? Yeah, this is all you see.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, but they're on you before you know it.
Yeah. Every time.
But
every time.
I'd say it all the time to, you know, safety guy will come down and do briefings, and I'm like, directing traffic is really dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, it is the most dangerous thing. But they all agree with it. You know, they've come up with. Have you heard of the automatic flagging devices? Yeah. So they have auto flaggers now. I wish in a perfect world, every single state barn would have a set of these, right? They're a set. There's the trailer. You hook them up, dolly them up to each other, pull them behind the truck. And they've got a light on them, stop, go. And then they've got an arm that comes down. One guy sits in a truck in the middle, monitors traffic both directions. It's a button.
Wow.
This end goes down, closes. This end comes up. It's a button. This end goes down. This end goes up.
Damn.
And it gets you out of the middle of the road.
Yeah.
But, you know, with everything that's new comes, you know, are we ever going to use those?
Right.
You know, you got to take them out there and set them up. And I can understand, like, if we're just going out to do something quick on the side of the road, but if you've got one of those, hey, we're replacing, you know, we're doing some major work here. We're going to be here all day. Then, man, you know, if they got it to where every barn had access to those every day, I believe they would be used.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. But as it is right now, you know, you've got to say, okay, well, I've got this project coming up. Let's go get the automatic flaggers. All right. You go to Paducah and pick them up at the barn and bring them back down here. And then, you know, when we get done with this, then you've got to take them and take them back to Paducah, you know? So it adds a layer of logistics to it that doesn't need to be there. But
so they really need to be at every barn.
Every barn. Yeah. Every barn needs to have them. And I'll tell you what, I'll take it a step further than that. I would say that every barn needs to have them, and it needs to be standard operating procedure that you use them.
Oh yeah.
You know, you know, it's just, when you hear about a state highway worker get killed, you would assume that it would be, they rolled a tractor over something. No, it's a guy standing in the road with a paddle, you know, and that's the guy that gets killed
every time. Yeah.
And you've got something to help remedy that now. So I hope that they move forward with, you know, issuing those out as they come in. I know this is kind of like a test run right now to see how they're going to work.
Right.
Really, honestly, they're simple. If there is one thing on them, though, they have that remote, and it is a radio frequency remote. And if you know anything about guys, we're going to lose that damn remote.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to take it in a can with us and leave it, you know, somewhere in but that really
get out to the side, have to turn around and go back.
Yeah. But
you
know, I think the benefits far outweigh what could go wrong. But yeah, you know, AI will be doing that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I gotta take it
all
over.
Also have cameras where they can see the traffic.
Right.
You know,
have those robots out there. Flagging.
Have you seen the little robot, the TikTok? Robot that runs around.
Yeah, waving at everybody.
That's pretty cool.
I guess somebody's controlling it. I'm hoping somebody's controlling it.
There's always a group of some people that are following. They don't ever show them that much, but if you watch, you kind of see them. But it's
freaking people out.
Do you remember when Boston Dynamics first came out with that robot? You know, that they were testing that robot.
Yeah.
They had that robot, and they had the dog.
Right. Yeah.
And so that, man, it seemed like Star Trek shit 20 years ago. Now this Joker's just running around in a park.
Yeah.
You know, now these things are like bringing you like, what's really cool is we went to for the restaurant, we went to the food show.
Yeah.
And they've got the robots now that basically, you know, you make the food, they get a scan, it scans the ticket, you put all the food in the robot, it goes out there and serves you.
I had one serve me in Vegas.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It's never going to work like in my situation.
Right.
It's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. But I was at a Denny's whenever I had one, Denny's in Vegas, and according to the waitress, she was like, you put in like a track plan that it follows.
Right.
And I guess you just have the like table number that you push whenever you put the food on the tray, push that table number, and that's where it goes.
That's pretty cool. You know, I used to think it was cool. The little choo-choo train came around and brought
yeah.
That was top of the line technology.
Top flight.
Yeah. You said Denny's, man. That just reminded me. We went to New Orleans one time, and we'd stopped at a rest area, used the bathroom, and this guy was, well, there was 2 or 3 guys, but this one guy was talking to us. He said, "Where y'all going?" So we're going down to New Orleans. You know, I don't have good time. Have a good time. You know, and he said, "Well, that's where we just left." You know, and he had a real thick, like, you know, I don't know where he was from. But he was thick, man, like cold peanut butter. And so he said, "Where y'all going? You can get some good seafood down there." I said, "Well, we need to get some seafood." He's like, "Y'all eat at Denny." He said Denny's.
Yeah.
Y'all eat at Denny's. And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Man, you got to try it, man. They got some of the best seafood. I never knew that place existed, and they got the best seafood." We all left there and we got in the car, and we were like, "We're talking like moons over Miami?"
Yeah.
You know, like, we were so confused.
Right.
And I'm looking for Denny's, and I'm like, "Is there another restaurant called Denny's?" So it's like the second day we're in New Orleans, and we're on Bourbon Street, and there's all these cops. There's like cops at every corner. There's NOPD, and then there's parish cops. It's just your cops, state police. They're just there. They're everywhere down there. I was like, I'm just walking past this cop. So I walked up and asked the cop, I said, "Hey, man, when you guys go get seafood, like, I don't want some, you know," because there was a bunch of
just a bunch
franchise
of
shit. And I was like, I want to eat someplace local. And he's like, "Oh, you go up to Bucktown and eat at Denny's." And in my mind, I could hear that guy going, "Denny's." I'm like, "It's Denny's." Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you. You know,
Denny's.
Yeah. We went and ate there. It was phenomenal. But
nice.
Every time I think about a Denny's now, my mind goes straight to seafood. Probably not healthy.
No. Well, as far as Denny's goes, man, they had some good ass breakfast.
Hey, I don't even know if this guy's still alive. He's not watching the podcast anyway. I had a friend in high school that was infatuated with Denny's. Like, that was his whole aspiration in life was to be a manager or own a Denny's, right?
Yeah.
And so he had this running shtick where we would go out on the weekend, and then we would always eat at Denny's.
Yeah.
He'd always take a little bit of Denny's home with him, right?
Yeah.
And so he had a whole setup in his basement. Yeah, he had a 4-top setup in his basement from Denny's with all the Denny's plates, the Denny's cups.
Yeah.
He had all that in his basement.
Like he loved Denny's.
Like he loved Denny's, man.
Wow.
Like, he had Denny's shirts. That was his favorite place to eat. And so he would, and I was like, man, look, I can understand plates, cups, and stuff.
Yeah.
Where the hell did you get that table from?
Right.
So this dude drives a Mazda RX-7, right? With T-tops in it.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, one night I was up by the city, and I went into this Denny's, and he's like, I was in there with another friend, and all the waitresses went in the back because there was like a fire in the kitchen.
Oh, shit.
And he ran out the front door with a table, threw it in that Mazda, and the other dude that was with him had to ride with that table. Now, you got a picture like a Mazda RX. It's not a big car. So he had the legs sticking out the side.
Oh, my God.
The table was just wedged in there.
No way.
You talk about meeting strange people in your life.
Yeah.
He was a hot duck. But he loved damn Denny's.
He loved fucking Denny's,
yeah. He's a conviction. I think he's in prison now.
Yeah. Well, he's probably not going to watch him.
No. But you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of interesting characters through my life.
Hell.
But, you know, How you like Recreation Tourism Board?
Well, I've only been to 2 meetings. Tonight was my second. And, it's going pretty well, I think. We're going to have a pecan fest this year. October 18th. One dayer.
Hey, look, from the jump, when I got on there, that was one of the first things I said was, hey, why are we having a pecan fest when there's no pecans?
Yeah.
Why this is a fall festival. Why are we bookending this between the soybean festival and the banana festival? Because what you're doing there is you're battling for vendors.
Right.
Nobody's going to come to your show if they can go to the Fulton, to the banana festival, or the soybean festival. Well, we moved this on up,
right.
And there was always a lot of pushback because it was, as farmers are in the fields.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time I got on there, I'm trying to think. It was me, Kayla Mullis, Brooke Cermak, John Wiley. That might have been it. But so what we did, we moved it. We moved it on into the fall, and that worked a whole lot better.
Right.
And so, I love this little town that I live in. I know a lot of people complain about it, but like my kids, they go somewhere and they're like, man, I wish we lived in Chicago. They got all this stuff to do up there. And I was like, yeah, they sure do.
Right.
And, but my problem with it was always they want you to do a lot with a little
bit of nothing
in it.
Yeah.
And so we've reached the point now where, it's, why can't we have something like the Banana Festival? We should have a big festival like that. And I'm like, you've got to understand the difference between the infrastructure here.
Right.
So Fulton has a tax, cheeseburger tax. What that is that all prepared foods.
Yeah.
A very small percentage of that goes directly to tourism.
Right.
And that tourism benefits 2 different cities.
Yeah.
That's South Fulton and Fulton working together to make this happen. And so they have a person that works, that has a job, and their job that they get paid to do is set those festivals up.
Yeah.
All the things that happen in Fulton through the year, that person gets paid to do it.
Right.
It's a different animal.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing.
Hickman city's going to give you a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go out and say, hey, local businesses, hey, local individuals, we could really use some money.
Right.
And I just write you a check.
That
was last year about the same time, but
right.
And you feel bad because you're asking the same people over and over again.
And that's kind of where I'm at on the whole thing, because I didn't know how it worked. I'm not even going to sit there and pretend like I knew. Yeah. So going into it, I was open-minded on the part of how do we make this work? Where does this money come from?
Right.
Where do we get the money to do anything?
Right.
So I've learned a little bit of that for these last 2 meetings, but where I'm at is, where's our fundraisers at? Where is the work being put in to make these things happen? And
so that is another thing. So that you had your fishing rodeo, you had your, what were we doing to raise funds? We would do the bologna. So when Big Head was still doing it, he was selling bologna.
Yeah.
I tried to keep that up. I smoked 100 sticks of bologna one time. But even that is just a pittance compared to what you would have to fundraise.
Right.
And they've done some stuff to improve it. I know the electric system out at the park is 1,000 times better than it used to be. And, but it's still it's a struggle to try to make all that come together. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, I sing the praises of these two, Kayla Mullis and Brooke Cermak. That last year I was there, I don't know how they did it. It was an incredible con festival.
Yeah.
Like they had gotten all these crazy vendors. Like we had a woman out there with a foam machine, and we had, it was.
I remember that year.
It was so much going on, and the kids had so much to do, and there were so many vendors there, and I was like, this is amazing.
That was a very good pecan festival.
But there was 2 people who literally worked themselves to the point where when it was over with, they were like, we can't do this again.
Yeah.
Like this has interfered in a large part of our lives trying to manage this,
Right.
And so if you're going to be, then you've got to have people that are willing to put in that work, because you can't leave it up to 2 people to do it, because it is going to interrupt their lives. So then you're going to need everybody to chip in and do it. It's just hard to find people that have time to do that nowadays.
You definitely need a team, like a group of people that's on the same page, wanting the same things, and do it. You know, I mean, you gotta, and that's kind of the plan that I had in my mind going into this was, this is how it needs to work. This is what we need to do. We definitely need to get the funds. We definitely need to get the right attractions. We need the right talent. We got to keep people motivated and willing and wanting to be there, you know? And that's a challenge.
I'm trying to remember the guy's name. This is pre-me. This is me back when I was a cop here, and they had the con festival. One of the first years that I worked it as a cop, they're like, "Hey, we got this guy." I'm not gonna say who it was, just because nobody probably knows anymore anyway, because this guy's probably passed away 10 years ago. But they said, "Hey, this guy's coming in. He's coming in a bus. And he wants to be escorted in, you know." And then when he gets out of the bus, he wants to be escorted up to the stage. And I'm like, "Who is this guy? You know, like who's this dude? Are we, you know, somebody I'd know?" And they told me who it was, and I was like, "I don't know who that is."
Yeah.
Which, of course, to me, I was new to country music altogether, because I never heard it till I moved down here.
Right.
And so they're like, "Yeah, he had this song back in the 70s, early 80s, you know." And okay, all right, you know. So this dude pulls up in this enormous tour bus, you know, and he gets off there, and he parked over in the grass, kind of catty corner to the stage back there in the, like, where the ball fields are at.
Oh, yeah.
Door opens up, you know, and it instantly steps out and almost just eats shit right there. And we picked him, you know, kind of helped him up. We're like, "Hey, all right, you know." "Oh, I'm fine." About 10 steps in, I'm like, "This guy is in the bag, man." This dude is in the bag.
Yeah.
He is, I mean,
tore
up from the floor up. And we get him up and finally get him on stage and kind of prop him up there next to the microphone, you know. And buddy, when the music started playing, it was like, you know, he has risen again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, that dude came to life.
Some of that Johnny Cash shit.
And he stayed up there on that stage singing and dancing for, you know, 45 minutes, an hour. And it was hot. You know, it was hot. And he got back off that stage, and we walked back over the tour bus with him. He got back off into the sunset. And I said, "I bet this dude does this every day."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
wow.
Yeah, he was good to go. You know, it's just, I never understood how the talent pool worked, you know, with these A level, B level, C level, D level, you know. And they've got these agencies out here that, hey, they're like, "Hey, man, we've got these people. You remember that song back from, you know, you remember that song? Oh, yeah, I remember that song. What happened to those guys?" Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to them. They're my artists now, and if you want to book them, we'll do it for $12,000, you know,
right,
$10,000, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, your next level up, it's like, you know, "Yeah, hey, remember that band that had that album?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, yeah, whatever happened to them?" "Well, let me tell you what happened to them.
Yeah.
For $25,000, they'll come down and sing you a couple songs off that album." And it just goes progressively higher, you know.
Yeah.
So when I
ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, when it's like, you know, you know how things are going, you know, when it's like, all right, we got Charlie Pride's roommate from college down here. And he's he's gonna sing all the greatest hits, you know. And you're like, "Oh man, you know, like, how much did he cost?" You know, "It was $8,000. I'm like, damn, you know.
Hell yeah. I always was a firm believer though back then, and it might be different, but I know there's a lot of people that's interested in just music in general. You know, you don't have to have Charlie Pride's roommate. But back then we also had options for bands around here, you know, including us. And I would have enjoyed a whole day of that more.
Well, ask no more, sir, because when the second run around, that was exactly what I said when we came in there. We all agreed we were not going to spend another dime on, you know, now it's Loretta Lynn's hairdresser from college, you know, like we just weren't going to do it anymore. So it was like, all right, we're going to, you know, let's give some money to the local band. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we did. You know, we took that pot of money and we said, all right, you know, who knows a band? You know? And so that's what we did. And people really responded to that more, I think, because look, people like to listen to music. People like live music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that was a big part of it, man. They just wanted to come out there and hear some good music and have fun and have good options to eat and let their kids be in it. Hey, man, y'all go over and get in the bouncy house.
Yeah, that's the
bracelet. That's what you're looking for,
right?
And but yeah, that was we didn't have anybody there that year that was famous.
Yeah, right.
Had a hit or anything, but
right. And like even the Banana Festival, they always have that headliner on Saturday night. Always.
Was it Kelly Pickler that year that came down? Was it Kelly Pickler?
I think so.
Kelly Pickler was there. I was there. I was Midnight Sergeant then.
Right.
We all had to come in.
And I think last year it was one of them country rappers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was Blanco Brown.
Yeah, that's right. Blanco that's right. Brown. Which was good.
Yeah,
there was a crowd there.
Kelly Pickler was as tall as that stand for your phone right there.
Oh yeah, I know. She's like little bitty, tiny.
Yeah.
Loretta Lynn's, or not Loretta Lynn, but George Jones's granddaughter was real short too.
Really?
Whenever she came out to the Pecan Festival.
TV's crazy, isn't it? Like watching somebody on television, you don't have any idea really how tall they are, or you see somebody in a movie,
right?
And you're like, because like up until I was old enough to know better, I thought Tom Cruise was like 6'5".
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is like 5'8",
right?
5'7", something like that.
Like, geez.
Like if you're watching me right now on the podcast, I am 4'11", and I weigh 130 pounds. Yeah, a couple pounds.
Right. But yeah, man, I'm going to enjoy it, I think, and it's going to be what it is this year. Just kind of getting it together. I hope it goes well, and we'll see.
Like Jill Coffey and Big Head and all them, they were on the Roger Adams, and they always said this: it is that you start planning for the Pecan Festival the day after the Pecan Festival is over with,
right?
Because and especially, this is any advice I could give you. This is the advice that I will give you. If you have vendors there that are successful, if you've got a food truck or you've got a tent set up or it's something where people are really enjoying whatever aspect is, then you go to that person immediately and say, this is, it's really important that you get a date.
Yeah.
Set a date.
Right.
Even if you got a rain date that comes with it, set a date and say, hey man, this is when we're having this next year.
Yeah.
Pencil us in.
Yeah.
Right. That goes a long way.
Yeah. A long, long way. And, I just hope it goes well.
It will.
I think it will.
Yeah, it will. Get one under your belt. You'll be ready for the next 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, I can't thank you enough for coming on.
It was an absolute pleasure. This is my first podcast.
Really? Yeah.
I've done a podcast before.
It's soothing, isn't it?
It is actually.
Yeah.
I love to just sit around and talk, and so this is right up my alley.
Right. I'd love to have you on again in the future.
Absolutely. If you've got like I was going to have George Clooney's cousin.
Yeah.
If that happens.
Yeah.
Then, call me up. I'll come fill in.
Definitely.
It's been a pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. And, talked about some good stuff.
I think so. I think
I think so.
Stuff.
Yeah. But, I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll have you again.
Thank you, sir.
As for the Bubba-Teers out there, thank y'all for tuning in and listening in on Mr. Derek Goodson, the man, the myth, the legend. And
mostly myth.
Yeah, but legend, real legend. And don't forget, old Bubba T's got his merch out today, or have had it out for a while. Just holler on Bubba T if you want one. I got the hats, I got the shirts, and I just love each and every one of you for tuning in and giving me the support on the Bubba T Show. And I hope to see you all in the future as we make more episodes. And I love you to death, and we'll see you soon.
She'd say, well, I don't guess too much has changed, 'cause I still ride there.